underestimate the power of PlayStation.
Beyond.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Beyond, episode 336. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside he only does everything, Colin Moriarty.
Go to bed, Jimmy John. You ain't gonna be making no sandwiches.
God dang it, Mama, I'm gonna make all them sandwiches. I'm gonna make them so fast, you gonna freak, Mama.
I don't understand anything you people say.
It's Jimmy John's fan fiction.
Yeah, Colin and I have an ongoing Jimmy John's fan fiction audio.
Oh, I've heard this.
Oh, okay.
I just still don't understand it.
All right, well, in the ever-rotating third chair, Jared Petty this week. Welcome back.
Greetings, thank you.
Wiki
Thank you for
Wonder
having
Kid.
me.
So, Jimmy John, the sandwich shop.
Yeah, right.
Amazing sandwiches.
They're pretty good.
They're
pretty good.
amazing sandwiches.
Pretty good.
Fast, you'll freak.
Yeah, that's their thing. So fast, you'll freak. So we
They
talked
are
about
fast.
we talked about all the time, like when Jimmy John was growing up in the rural suburbs of Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
That his mom, they were in like a rickety house. And
Right.
She didn't like him wasting all this bread and meat trying to make all these sandwiches, but he had a dream.
Well, he had a dream. He had to make them fast. I get that.
Exactly.
Sure.
He saw
Yeah.
it through. His mom didn't believe he could do it, and he did it.
I'm just wondering, like, why Jimmy John sounds like a character from like Driving Miss Daisy. That's what
Well,
I'm
that's the
trying
whole
to figure
thing.
out.
Is that
Yeah.
the country folk,
Well, yeah, but I mean,
city folk don't
And
understand.
Jimmy John would
Oh, is that
stay
what
up
it is?
until all hours of the night with bread laid across the island counter.
Okay.
In his kitchen, very quickly spreading the mayonnaise, trying to figure
Learning
it
to
out.
make things very quickly.
And his mom would come and be like, "What are you doing, Jimmy John?
Jimmy John. No, Mama, I want to make these sandwiches. I want to learn to make them so fast, Mama. We're gonna get out of here.
Okay, and I can tell y'all, I'm from the South.
Yeah.
I grew up in Carolina,
Uh-huh.
and I was born in Alabama. And I can tell you that there are really, with the accents y'all are using, about 5 counties in all the South that Jimmy John could actually be from. All right, so that's all I got to say
I'm
about
glad
that.
you're honing in on his dialect. That's a big deal for us.
He's from central Alabama.
Yeah, there's only a very, very few special places with dirt roads and pine forests and not much else. So he would have had trouble finding the bread to make the sandwiches there. I
He
can
made
tell
it
you that.
himself. He made the bread himself.
Well,
And he
yeah,
would import
from
Hellman's mayonnaise.
Yeah, he
Big
would have
city.
to import it because
He
it'd be
practiced.
Dukes down there. He wouldn't have helmets. So yeah, it's good. But yeah, Jimmy John's sandwich is good. The
Yeah.
speed's what impresses me.
Yeah,
When
exactly.
my job before this one was horrible in every possible way, except for the fact that there was a Jimmy John's across the street.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, that's where this came from, right
Sure.
here. This girth, this mass.
Yeah.
That's a lot of Jimmy John sandwiches.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this
been
is
a good
Podcast Beyond, IGN's PlayStation podcast, the #1 PlayStation podcast on the internet. Remember, you can grab it as an MP3 every Tuesday, a video every Wednesday on IGN.com, YouTube.com/IGN, and the IGN PlayStation 4 app, which you should go download very quickly.
Greg, would that make it the greatest, the most popular, the most important PlayStation 4 podcast in the universe?
Yeah,
And the most
that's
important
right.
on the internet?
Yeah.
No universe.
Can we just
Yeah.
go ahead and claim universe? I was
Sure.
watching Cosmos the other night. I don't think there are any PlayStation 4s on other planets.
No, yeah, probably not. So we
So
probably
I
got
think
it.
universe.
I'd like to think that NASA's beaming Podcast Beyond out there.
Well, it's got to be going out there somewhere. Yeah, absolutely.
It's getting out. It's the aliens are getting in, hearing about Blossopops and
And
Frederick
then they
and all this
send it
stuff.
back with mathematical
Yeah.
formulas and schematics like in Contact.
Contact. What a flick.
What a book.
Disappointing ending, but a good flick.
Good book.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent book. And good flick, too.
Sure.
I'm with both. The Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
Carl
Totally.
Sagan, man.
Yeah,
Let's
Carl
begin the
Sagan
show
was
with what is and forever will be the Roper Report.
in
Time for some news.
There are...
Got caught on your mic stand? Oh, he's getting glasses
Uh-oh.
now.
I can't use the paper today.
You look like the world's
gotta lick your
daintiest
fingers.
librarian right now.
There you go. Now you got it.
Oh, my goodness.
11 items.
You want to know one of the scariest moments of my recent life? I went to this. I needed money for a restaurant I was at next door, so I went to this like gritty bar. I'm using the ATM, and the money comes out, and I then lick the finger I'd used to hit the grody buttons on the ATM. I'm like, why did I do that?
You licked a PS Vita when it was announced. Did you
Well,
remember
that
this?
was- yeah, that was at E3.
show.
That was
Oh
at
my
E3.
God,
That was
10
different.
times worse than
That was to
whatever
get famous.
Yeah, E3 has some nasty things going
Yeah.
on. I don't...
Yeah, there are 11 items on the list. We'll start with number 1, of course.
Number 1, of course.
That's wise.
By the way, the scariest moment of my life recently has been the sheer amount of comic book shit in our apartment. Now we have a new fucking statue of
Yeah.
Batman kissing a chick in a,
Yeah,
a
Catwoman.
mask.
Catwoman.
Yeah.
Real quick, everybody. If I didn't bring in comic book shit, it would still look like Scott Bromley moved out yesterday. Because Colin has no possessions throughout the house.
That's by design. I
you
want
a-
to be able to leave quickly.
Are you a Spartan liver?
I want to have nice things, and I don't mind the nerdy things. Like I'm on the top shelf of my room. I have like all my first party PlayStation toys that I've gotten over the years: Ratchet and Drake and Joel and Ellie. But there comes a point in a man's life where he can't have Infamous posters on the wall in the living room and Mass Effect posters on the wall in the room.
Don't forget about the Gone Home stuff we're having on
the
the wall
Gone
soon.
Home stuff.
Yeah.
This, that, and the other thing. Shelves full of fucking
And what prompts
George
that point?
Martin books and fucking
What
DVDs.
What prompts that change in attitude?
I don't know. It's like for me, I've always had these 4 flags right in my room hanging up since I was a kid.
All right.
Since I was a teenager.
4 flags.
Yeah, 4 flags. The Don't Tread on Me flag.
Okay.
The Bennington 76 flag.
Okay.
The American flag and the State of New York flag.
Okay.
And I eventually, even recently, my girlfriend's like, you're 29 years old. Maybe it's time you can just take these flags down. So I did. I took them all down in my room, and I put some nice art up in my room, some nice art of the world.
So this was ultimately influenced by a girlfriend. I think that's kind of where I was going. Is this?
It's influenced by her, but she's right.
Yeah. Oh, she is right. Yeah, I'm not trying to take away from that. Women are generally right. I've learned that. That's been my experience, at least. Or maybe it's just that I'm wrong all the time, and I happen to be around women. I don't know.
Well, I'm wrong a lot too. But anyway, I appreciate that. Greg did get me a nice piece of Mega Man art. That hangs over our fuse box in the kitchen, which is really nice.
The fact that art is an improvement over the old order, however, may.
Mega Man's fine. We can cover the entire house.
Anything you put in a frame, I think's fun. That's the thing.
Yeah.
All
Anything
the improvements
you put in a frame?
we've been making with the framing stuff is Christine.
Oh,
Even
cool.
the statue. I didn't buy statues before.
Can you guys bring pictures? I'd love to see this.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
My major concern is this: San Francisco is so expensive, and Greg and I are so poor that we're never going to not live together. So eventually, we're going to have this huge. It's almost like it's like an old Roman palace with all the statues, around everywhere. Like the
mosaics,
of all
frescoes.
the gods. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Except for instead of Jupiter, we have Batman kissing Batwoman.
Catwoman.
Yeah.
Catwoman.
Yeah.
Batwoman. Actually, Batwoman.
We're
Batwoman's
not
lesbian.
going there. Yeah.
Is there a Batwoman?
There's a Batwoman.
Of course, there's a Batwoman.
I never actually really heard of Batwoman.
There's Crypto the Superdog. There's going to be a Batwoman.
Sure.
I fucking can't take comic books anymore. They should just. They're too complicated.
Anymore.
There's too
You
many,
don't even read
there's too many characters.
You don't even read
What's
them.
this
huh?
anymore? This stuff these things emerged in the 30s and 40s.
I can't.
mean,
Don't
convoluted
even.
plot lines.
Just let him tire himself out.
All right, that works.
Tuck him in.
Number 1. The Last of Us is coming to PlayStation 4. The leak came by way of Serkan Sulan,
Of course.
PlayStation's Eurasian software market manager. In an interview with Turkish website Multiplayer, he said the following, quote, "There is no information about a new Last of Us game, but I can share this knowledge. As of this summer, The Last of Us will be on the PlayStation 4, both on PSN and physically. The PS4 version will also include the DLC, so you will be able to play Left Behind as well." End quote. Sony refused to confirm his statement, but you can basically take it to the bank. This is the exact way Gran Turismo 5 was prematurely leaked when Sony's Michael Denny gave an interview to a European website. That is way too much detail for that to be fake. So
Sure.
I am 100% confident that
Colin
this summer
Moriarty's lock of the week.
PlayStation 4 will have The Last of Us
Book
at
it,
retail
Vegas.
and digitally this summer.
Surprised by this. I don't know anything about, I know nothing about actual business or anything like that. So yeah, when things like that, I really didn't think they'd do it. I didn't think there'd be enough
What's
margin
interesting
in it.
for me about it is the fact that they used Last of Us. It's one of the first games they did on PlayStation Now when they were doing the test demos of that. So it's kind of like, oh, that's how I'll get Last of Us if I was a 360 kid and I bought a PS4.
Exactly. That's what I figured too.
All right. Here's a question from Tyler. Tyler writes in and says, Beyond.
Beyond.
With news that The Last of Us is coming to PlayStation 4, it got me thinking about the Uncharted series and how great those games would look with up-res graphics on the PlayStation 4. Do you think there is a chance of us seeing previous Uncharted games on the PS4 in the near future, or would it make more sense for them to wait until 2017 and the 10th anniversary of Drake's Fortune?
Yes, I think you will see Uncharted games on the PS4.
I do not think it'll be soon.
No, not this year.
Yeah, I think if anything, you're going to wait until it's right, but you're about to release Uncharted PS4, right? Wouldn't that make sense?
Or maybe even after.
Yeah.
Either way. Do you
figure-
think before or after? I don't know.
You figure if you did it before Uncharted 4 or Uncharted PS4, there's a chilling effect, right? They were very clear with Killzone and Infamous. These are new franchises, basically new franchises. You don't need to play the old stuff. If you release the old Uncharted games, then it kind of looks like, crap, I got to play through these 3, so I got to buy this $60 game with 3 games on it.
No, they're not going to have any problem selling that game.
I kind of think...
Sure.
Or go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, the cadence has already been set, starting with God of War Collection. God of War Collection preempted God of War 3.
Sure.
Then they released the Sly Collection, which preempted Sly 4.
Yeah.
Then they released the Eco and Shadow of the Colossus Collection, which was supposed to preempt The Last Guardian. So, this goes... And then they released Infamous. They already released the Uncharted games. They released the Resistance Collection. They released all these things to preempt the new games. So... I think it would be stupid for them not to do it. In fact, I think I wouldn't be surprised when you talk about Infamous and Killzone. I really, honestly, wouldn't be surprised to see those games come to PS4 either. But there's
the Infamous.
But there's PS Now and stuff, and it's redundant. But I'm not sure. They know that they can slap a new set of trophies on these games. They do know this. if you even look at the sales of the God of War like Origins collection, which was like the PSP games, that sold like 500,000 copies.
Yeah,
which is like absurd. Yeah. You know, like because it's like they're like PSP up-res ports. They don't look extraordinarily good on the console, and they have trophies, so everyone. I feel like they know, like, you know, PS Now will have trophies, but they can probably release them at retail.
Sure.
I would not be surprised to see these games come out again. They're just sitting there. It's free money for them. You know, they just have to pay a small studio to port them, just like they did with all these other games.
So do you think that's what's going to happen with Last of Us? Is it you think Naughty Dog's doing it, or you think somebody outside of it's doing it?
I think Naughty Dog's probably pouring it.
Okay.
But, I mean, we don't know. I mean, like, it would make sense that, you know, since the game... It seems like the canary in the coal mine about this is the inclusion of Left Behind, if that's true, because they just finished it, and like you would assume that they didn't, you know, if like an outside company like Bluepoint or something was doing these ports like they used to do the old ports, that Bluepoint's busy with Titanfall anyway, but that they would be...
Oh yeah, that game refuses to come out.
but they've been working on, you know, this game up to the last minute, and then they have to get it over to PS4. It seems like that would be something, you know, Naughty Dog would do itself, but who knows? No official confirmation, but it's going to come out this summer.
I'm just impressed that you almost had like a shadow. He's like, who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men. That was good.
Did you like that? That wasn't an intentional.
Really? I thought you were going for the shadow.
No.
The Billy Zane movie.
Yeah.
No. Billy Zane was not in Shadow. That was Alec Baldwin.
Greg's favorite...
The Phantom.
Yeah.
God, there were so many fucking terrible
Greg's favorite Stain song...
Oh, yeah.
Is the video that Billy Zane's in, which is like a terrible song. It's like not even a good Stain song.
No, it's a really good song. I can't ever remember it though on the spot. It's not the one I was just singing, right?
I do not.
No.
It's the Fred Durst song. Slow. Oh
yeah.
No, I'm on the outside.
Yeah, such a great.
This
song.
is the real motherfucking
deal, y'all. I'm feeling those lighters. Shut up, Fred Durst. You got a credit on that just for this? You suck.
And then they went back into the studio and recorded it. Number 2. Justin Richmond, the director of Uncharted 3, as well as the director of upcoming PlayStation 4 exclusive Uncharted game, has officially left Naughty Dog. Richmond left Naughty Dog to go to Riot Games, which is like right next door to Naughty Dog, and is the most it literally is, and is the most recent high-profile individual to leave a Sony-owned studio in the past month. Uncharted creator Amy Hennig also left Naughty Dog about a month ago.
Bryce G says Beyond. Yo, Beyond crew. What the heck is up with all these people working on Uncharted 4 and then leaving? Seems like Naughty Dog is trying to kill the next game in their franchise. Bryce G.
No, I'm sure they're not trying to kill it.
This is weird, though, right? This is super weird that Amy leaves, then Justin leaves. These are the two people that they made a point of mentioning when they put out this thing when they announced Uncharted PS4. They said, and don't worry, Amy and Justin are working on it. And now they're gone. Yep. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's weird. All right, so we should say that we know Amy personally. We know Justin personally.
Yeah.
We don't have any inside information from them about any of this. My theory about this, and this is just my theory, is that Uncharted 4 wasn't coming along well. It probably wasn't making good progress. Now, this is to be expected. Everyone that was working on that game was put on The Last of Us. So, like, that project was in stasis for a while. Then they go back and they start working on it. They're probably not happy where it is.
Sure.
Right? Amy Hennig either leaves or is removed from the project. I'm not sure which. I assume she was probably removed from the project since Uncharted is her baby.
Right.
And then my suspicion is that maybe Justin left in solidarity. You know, like they were a team, and the two most high profile, most important senior people on that project.
Right.
And one, the yin is not the yin without the yang, as it were.
Right.
And so,
for me, the most
I don't know. That's my theory.
When it went up, when this news story went up, and we were talking around in the office, people were like, "Well, don't forget that Riot's this prestigious company. It's, they're doing awesome things." I'm like, I get that. Like, don't get me wrong. I totally understand. Like, Riot offers you a job, like, oh, I should probably take this job. Not when you're in charge of the PlayStation 4's biggest franchise. You're on the biggest game right now for the PlayStation 4. At least whatever, in Western audiences and all this stuff. It seems insane that like this is like, but it seems to me that it would be something like what you're talking about, in the fact that Amy leaves, the project's not going along as where you want it to be, and you are like, I don't want to be in charge of the sinking ship or whatever the hell it would be.
I'm always suspicious when people walk away without comment. Not that they did anything wrong. It's quite the opposite. But usually when people leave for happy reasons, they tell you they're leaving for happy reasons.
But this is what I read in between the lines. This is how I kind of get to my like where my theory is. And again, just a theory. It can be anything. Is that Amy hasn't said anything at all.
Right.
That indicates to me that she was fired.
Yeah.
Right? Because then she signs
NDA.
like an NDA saying
that's what you do when you're fired and you want to separate.
Justin Richmond says that he left and went to Riot Games. He told us that, right?
Yeah.
Like he gave a statement to us. Now, like that's
IGN.
IGN. So that's not something that you are able to do if you sign one of these NDAs and
Sure.
you leave or whatever. You know what I mean? So like there's a lot of questions in the air, and we're kind of, it's just conjecture. We're just kind of guessing.
Yeah.
But those
could be
two things indicate to me that's the series of events. Now, I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. Now, there's still a lot of talent there, right?
Oh my
Neil
God,
and Bruce are still there. They made, The Last of Us there. They also made Uncharted 2, so they know that series, and if they're gonna take control of that game, that's actually probably a great sign, because The Last of Us is so fucking good. And Uncharted 2 is so fucking good, but Uncharted 3 was also so fucking good. And so, that's Justin and Amy's game, and I don't know. It's weird. The timing's all weird. It seems like they announced the game, right? In December, they announced it, right?
Yeah, VGAs.
Yeah,
or VGX.
And then this all happens in late February, early March. So
Right.
this was clearly not planned. Something blew up, right? Like internally. Now, will we ever know the story? I don't know. But
We will, but it'll be a long time.
Yeah, whenever the non-disclosure agreements expire.
Yeah. In the meantime, obviously, Richmond moved on. Congratulations to him. Great guy, super friendly guy. Featured prominently in the history of Naughty Dog. You can read that on IGN. So is Amy Hennig, and now we haven't heard from Amy and what she's doing next, but man, I'm sure that people are knocking her fucking door down. I can't imagine how many studios are like trying to get her, to write the next.
I mean, just one, the talent, and two, the ability to say, "Look who we got." Both of those things. I mean, just the prestige it instantly adds to the game having her involved, because of the quality of what she's done. That's great.
Yeah, and I don't know anything about this either, but it would not be shocking to me if a Microsoft studio picked her up.
You say knocking down the door, trying to get her, makes me think of Ilian Gonzalez. Just putting that out there.
Okay.
Remember that?
Yeah, I
You knocked
remember.
on the door, you got it.
Man, that's been a while. I haven't heard Elian Gonzalez in 15 years.
I lived in Florida during that whole mess. So let me tell
were you
what,
part of the task force that went in after?
No, I was not.
What happened? I don't remember how the story ended. Did
President of
Oh,
Cuba.
they sent him home.
Oh,
They sent him to his
so
father.
they did deport him.
No, what happened eventually was they sent stormtroopers into the house where the relatives were
They have
keeping
that
him.
awesome photo.
Yeah, the photo with
Which is a horrible
There's a
photo.
dude
Oh,
holding
yeah,
a
yeah.
submachine gun. He's holding an MP5. Like with
like
this,
the ant has him in
this
the-
guy
in
in
the
SWAT
closet.
armor,
It's
and then
terrible.
like there's the uncle holding him, like, and the gun is like an inch from the kid's head, and you're just like, oh
Yeah,
wow,
okay, I
this
remember
was
this.
this was not how this ended. Yeah, do you remember the old Budweiser was up? Do you remember?
What's
Yeah,
up?
yeah. Somebody took a very early internet flash video, just took photos from that whole thing and had them all. What's up? It was like Castro. What's up? I was like, yeah,
It took you 4 days to download it.
Yeah, it did. Totally worth it.
Number 3. Infamous Second Son is getting a patch that's set to bring some interesting changes to the game. The patch reacts directly to fan complaints. The patch allows players to change the time of day once you've beaten the game. You can also turn the HUD on and off at will, and even lock the frame rate at 30 frames a second. I don't know why you'd want to do any of those things, but I'm happy that apparently the time of day thing specifically was like a huge complaint once the game was over. I never really thought about it.
No,
I
I
don't
never
really want to
thought
run
that
around at night, but that's
Yeah.
cool that you
but
can
with
do that.
neon powers,
I
I
think
get
it's
it.
cool that they responded to that quickly to adding extra options. I never mind. If they go in and change fundamental gameplay things that I don't want them changed, that'd be annoying. But the ability to have the switch, sure, why not?
As far as I understand it, I'm not what I call a frame rate savant, so I can't like look at a thing and be like, that's 34.5 frames a second.
Yeah.
But their write-up on PlayStation Blog indicated that the game jumps above 30 frames a second, and that bothers people, and that like this will lock it at 30 frames regardless. And I was like,
Well, going up or
What's
down
the-
just makes it look different, right?
Yeah,
I
Some people
guess,
just
but
don't like
I
that.
can't see it. Like I don't know. Like I just like if it's running at between 28 and 34 frames a second, it's going to look the same to me. Like I can't focus on. I don't know. I just don't see it. I know it's there.
You just don't have those powers.
I
and
just
that's
don't
what it
have.
is.
I just don't have it.
You
have it?
No, I don't have it. There's
Do
a
you
lot-
have it?
No, not at all.
Like there are people that really can go up and be like, this game is running at 31 frames a
Colin,
second.
I can
Craig
barely
Harris
tell the
had it.
difference between like 60 FPS and a flip book. Okay, I just
Jesus.
I can tell you if a game is running at 60. I can tell you if a game is running really well or at 30 or badly. Like that's basically like where so I can say like this game's running at 20 frames a second. This game's running at 30 frames a second. This game's running at 45 frames a second. Like,
Right.
Again,
But man, there's like people that really get in the minutia of that, man.
It's-
I don't know.
it's
I can't see it.
It's a Switch. If they want to give them a Switch, great. The more things you can flip to make you happy, I'm great with.
You know what else I can't see are those fucking pictures like the one in Mallrats. I can't
Oh,
see
you
those.
can't see those?
No,
I can't see those.
The magic eyes?
Oh,
No way.
really?
I
Never
can't-
seen one
I
of them.
can't do it either.
Not even one.
They're not really there. It's all
I
one
know.
giant.
It's
April
one
Fools.
giant April Fools.
That's
Everybody's
right.
on it.
Hey, there's the reference right there, folks. April Fools.
Number 4. I'm excited about this one. This is a Colin Moriarty exclusive.
Oh.
Eagerly anticipated strategy RPG Natural Doctrine is officially coming west. Developed by Kadokawa Games, Natural Doctrine will be published in the West by NIS and will appear on PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation Vita. It's slated for release this fall and will tote cross-save and cross-play. Greg, the game looks a whole lot like Valkyria Chronicles.
Yay!
Woo! It only got a 31 out of 40 for Mitsu, which is the equivalent of like a 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
Kadokawa Games, by the way, is the publisher that brought Lunar over in the late 90s with working designs to PS1.
Yeah.
Yeah, good company.
I want to play this very much.
Number 5. And this is an interesting one, so bear with me on this one, Greg. Won't you?
I will bear with you anywhere, Colin.
Be careful what you say. In a conversation with Japanese newspaper Nikkei, Square Enix president Yosuke Matsuda said this, quote, "If you focus too much on the global aspect, you might lose sight of who you're actually making the game for. For example, if you look back at 2013, we've had some home console games made for a global audience that struggled." He later said that, quote, "In the past, when we developed console games with a worldwide premise, we lost our focus. And not only did they end up being games that weren't for the Japanese, but they ended up being incomplete titles that weren't even fit for a global audience. On the other hand, there are games like the JRPG we made for Japanese audience with proper elements, Bravely Default, which ended up selling well around the world." What does that mean, Greg?
Stay true to your vision.
Yeah, it seems like Square Enix might have actually learned their lesson.
Let's go back to making games.
All of them? Or just
that
studios?
particular lesson?
That's what I'm worried about. There's so many to learn. Don't put zippers on horses.
I'm just happy that Bravely Default did really well.
Yeah, I am too.
Because that's basically a Final Fantasy game.
Have you been playing it?
It's Final Fantasy
No,
V.
I downloaded it on my
Yeah, I have it
3DS,
too. I haven't played it yet.
It's FF5.
Yeah, class-based. I'm stoked that they use a lot of examples of games. They were talking about Hitman not doing well and like all these other games, and like because they're trying to like cram all of this shit into these games, people don't want them. They want Ni no Kuni was another example of that. Like people don't, Ni no Kuni sold over 1 million copies. That might not be a lot for Square even, but that's a lot for Namco, and that was a fucking traditional JRPG to the core.
Just make good games, man.
Yeah, people like those systems. Like when I think about Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest. Like the first 4 on NES, I love those games. Those are really like very basic turn-based, random battle, like really linear, like, but they're fun and people like those games. And I don't think you really need to move away from that and make like these super dynamic, paradigm-shifting Final Fantasy 13 garbage battle systems. If like people like that kind of stuff, that's what they like.
Well,
right?
I don't mind the experimentation. I mean, there have been some good experimental battle systems too. Chrono Trigger was fairly radical, even though it was only a small tweak on that Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest system. I do think there's something to be said for that. Chrono Cross is a crappy game with a great battle system. Yeah, and then again, it was largely experimental. So I don't want to say let's not try new things, but let's try new things. And if they're not fun, let's not put them in our games. I think that might be the better.
Yeah. To me, like I like the minor tweaks, right? Like Final Fantasy V you brought up, that is a minor tweak. Now, that's not the first Final Fantasy class-based game, but really to refine the class-based systems.
Yeah, that's the job system of the game.
Yeah, and Final Fantasy VI was a really nice job. Did a really nice job of democratizing the magic system with Espers. Yeah, and so like it still kept the turn-based like active battle system thing going on, but you had different ways to learn magic and like to really customize your characters. And Final Fantasy VII was the same way with Materia, and on and on. Final Fantasy VIII with the draw system.
Let's not talk about Final Fantasy VIII's system in any positive way, please.
But what I'm saying is like they all stayed true and were successful, right?
Yeah.
Final Fantasy.
Well, except for Final Fantasy.
Square would murder for a Final Fantasy game that sold as well as those 3 games on PS1. They'd fucking murder for a game. Like and they should pay close attention to why that is.
Okay, and kudos where they're due. Lightning Returns had a lot of problems, but its combat system was fun. I just did 13.3's guide, and that game's problems were not in the system. They were in other things. That combat system's superb. It's kind of like a mix between Active Time Battle and Punch Out.
I watched Marty play it, and it looked interesting. But the problem with that game is that Lightning is a boring character, and I have no idea.
And it's nothing but it's 60 hours of fetch quests with a terrible character. Yeah,
good. Sounds great. Number 6. Rumors have it that Until Dawn, the PlayStation 3 exclusive horror game first revealed 2 years ago, is being reworked for PlayStation 4 and will use the Project Morpheus VR headset. Ooh. Word comes by way of Polygon, whose sources tell them that the game is currently on the move between platforms. Hopefully we'll hear more soon. We saw that game, or actually you weren't in Comic-Con. I saw that game in 2011, I think. Right? 2011? No, 2012 is when you got sick. 2012 is when I saw it. That's when you were sick.
I saw it with you at some thing, though. At some PlayStation behind closed doors. Anyways, I mean, that's a thing that just dropped off the face of the fucking planet, huh? Like, geez. Yeah, there's some rumors for it. All right, great. It still exists.
I wrote about it last year. Supermassive Games is making it. They're a British studio. I reached out to them last year and asked them if they were still working on it. They said they were, but there's no obviously, Morpheus wasn't a thing that anyone was talking about at that time. So I'll try to see if I can get to the bottom of that story at some point.
It's interesting.
Yeah. And I thought Until Dawn actually is a really cool idea. Yeah. And I was kind of stoked about it when I saw it.
Explain real quick for people who don't know.
It's a teen horror movie, so but you're playing it, and you play it with PlayStation Move, unfortunately. But they told me when I saw the game there that they were reworking it for DualShock 3, so maybe they're actually doing all sorts of different options for it too.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's just like you're playing a teen horror movie, and like you're in the woods, and you're in a cabin, and people are trying to kill you and stuff. And I thought it was a really nice idea.
That sounds great.
It's campy as shit.
Yeah.
You know. And if you can, it's like what I always say about G.I. Joe, right? Like the old G.I. Joe 80s. If you can embrace the campiness, then you're ahead of the game.
Ever since LJN attempted Friday the 13th, we've been waiting for the perfect teen horror game.
Man,
and we're still
you know
waiting.
what horror game on NES was great though was Fester's Quest.
Fester's Quest is I think great might be a jump, but Fester's Quest is enjoyable.
I love that game. It's hard as shit.
It is very hard, and it really does take a lot of hits to kill enemies. But I kind of like it. It's pretty,
and it changes perspectives and stuff, like it's top down, or it's slightly tilted camera, and then you go in first person.
The only problem I have with it, somebody's described it once, is the parts of Blaster Master that aren't fun. And there is an element of truth to that, but I still really I have a soft spot for Fester's Quest.
Yeah, me too.
Blaster!
Friday the 13th, not so good. Throwing rocks over the heads of zombies.
Bad.
Yeah, not so good.
Bad. Number 7. If you live in North America and subscribe to PlayStation Plus, April's a very good month for you, Greg.
Ooh. Yeah?
The following games will be free this month. Batman Arkham City on PS3, Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse on PS3, Mercenary Kings on PS4, which is a new game.
That's today.
Pixel Junk Monsters Ultimate HD on Vita, excellent game. Stealth Inc. A Clone in the Dark on Vita, excellent game. And Velocity Ultra on Vita, one of Vita's best games.
Wow.
Yeah. Average score is something like an 8.5 out of all of those games.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
By the way, I platinumed Velocity Ultra this weekend on Vita. What a fucking horrifyingly difficult game to platinum.
Yeah, you were screaming all weekend about it.
But what a great game. What a fantastic game. And I have a build of 2X, Velocity 2X on my PS4 right now, and oh man, it's so good. So very good. You can see my video preview of that, as well as my video preview of Metrico, which is another great Vita game.
I'll drop it in this article for you,
Okay,
Colin.
that'd be fantastic.
Metrico. I don't know anything about Metrico.
It's very good. It's a Vita exclusive. Preview goes live today. It's a puzzle platformer.
Oh, cool.
Number 8. Sony has revealed that more than 1,000 independent developers have a license to self-publish on PlayStation 4, indicating that a deluge of PS4 games are currently in development. This comes at the same time as the company confirmed that more than 100 games are still slated to come to PS4 by the end of 2014. While PS4 certainly lacks big exclusive titles, it's good to know that independent support will continue unabated. And I will just continue to say that the independent support of PS4 has been awesome. You don't need these $60 games to have a thriving ecosystem, and I have been busy as shit with a lot of these games. I've been playing SteamWorld Dig now, and I got Fez, and I got there's why are we so eager to spend $60 when we have all these other games? Yeah, Towerfall.
Yeah.
Atif writes into Beyond at IGN.com and says, "Hi, Colin, Greg, and ever-rotating third chair."
This chair doesn't actually rotate, but thank you. I've been trying
The
to turn it
chair
all the
rotates.
time.
Who goes in it?
Huh? Oh, okay.
Jesus, petty.
Wow, that was my ancestor.
I listen to this podcast every week, and something that often comes up and bugs the hell out of me is when people claim PS4's 2014 lineup is weak. The Order, Drive Club, Deep Down, Rime, Daylight, Bound by Flames, Natural Doctrine, and MLB 14 are confirmed 2014 releases. Infamous just released and is by far the best Infamous yet, in my opinion, and best next-gen game yet. I own both a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One. Also, according to an IGN article from last year, Gran Turismo 7 is being targeted for 2014 on PS4. All this gives PS4 a significant advantage over Xbox One, which only has Quantum Break, Sunset Overdrive, D4, and Below confirmed this year. So I ask you guys,
And Titanfall.
why do you think the 2014 lineup is weak?
Rime is not confirmed for this year, as far as I know, and
We've already talked about we don't think the Order will actually hit.
I don't think the Order is going to hit. Deep
Drive
Down,
Club, you think is going to hit?
Drive Club will probably hit. Deep Down is not confirmed for Western release at all.
Okay.
GT7's not going to make it this year, is it?
Daylight is...
Daylight's it's coming out this month. We'll see.
Yeah, Bound by Flames looks good. Natural Doctrine looks good.
MLB is going to be solid as
great,
always.
of course.
Yeah.
Gran Turismo 7.
Gran Turismo 7 is not going to come out this year.
Yeah.
I think Gran Turismo will be a platform that they will release on PlayStation 4 and probably just call it Gran Turismo.
Okay.
That's my theory. I'm sure Polyphony is working hard on that because they understand how valuable for years microtransactions were on Gran Turismo 5. Now that they've removed all of Gran Turismo 5's online functionality and DLC to force everyone to go to Gran Turismo 6, I assume this will backfire and ultimately they will have to have this new platform on PS4 for Gran Turismo. But I'm with you. I mean, the lineup in terms of exclusives is very weak. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say that the lineup is strong. In terms of AAA exclusives, Infamous is a great game.
Yeah.
The Order, I hope, is going to be great. I hope it also comes out this year. And Drive Club, who knows what's going on with Drive Club?
Yeah.
That's it. That's all of the big AAA exclusive games this year. And MLB. But I don't really count that. It's a AAA game, but it comes out every year, and it's on PS3 and on Vita.
It goes to a very select audience.
Right, exactly. And they buy it, and they love it.
If you love MLB, great, you're going to love that game.
And But understand that, like, that is a weak exclusive lineup. Now, Destiny's coming out, right? Batman is going to come out.
Right.
Like, all of these great AAA third-party games, and that's totally fine, and that's excellent. The indies are where it's at, man. Like we're getting Mercenary Kings today. Last week we got SteamWorld Dig and Fez. Like, we still have all these other games from when PS4 launched, even Resogun and stuff like that, which is an exclusive. The PS4 is going to frankly live and die by these games for a while. And whether or not you like it or not, that's fine. But understand the value, the intrinsic value of indie games. Understand that that's where the industry is going. Understand that your money is going to go further because of these indie games.
Buy more games, buy better games.
Yeah.
And that this is a very positive thing. Now, we need the AAA games to sell the consoles. But if you have the console, you have nothing to worry about. If you can't find games to play on PS4, I don't know what you're looking at. And so I agree with him in this sense that the PS4, just like the Vita, has a bajillion games to play. It might not be the game that you can show to your friend to sell the console.
Right.
Yeah.
But I still think that PS4 is worthy of purchase for the indie games alone. And I'd stand by that completely. The same way I feel about Vita. Vita's games like Velocity Ultra make Vita worth it. It's not games like Killzone Mercenary that make Vita worth it.
Lufttrousers.
Lufttrousers.
Yeah. Oh,
You
I
know.
love that game. What's that?
Lufttrousers.
I know the Lufttrousers. I fly
amazing.
the airplane. When I shoot the button, I cannot fix. When I do not shoot the button, I can fix.
There you go.
It is
That's-
so smart.
that's it.
I like that game. Yeah, that's like the best use of a single interface for control since Windjammers. I love it.
It's
All
so
right,
good.
But
God, I
yeah,
love that game.
That's also, speaking of what you're talking about, I think it's some of us, the people involved in gaming culture, we have this idea that we want to support the people who have produced things we like in the past so they'll make more in the future. We talk about voting with their wallets here a lot.
Yeah.
So a lot of people ran out, they bought their PS4s, and they want to support, they want to evangelize to their friends, and then they look and they go, well, this doesn't quite have what I expected. That doesn't have as many in-your-face titles as the last generation did at the end. I've gotten, I'm not making fun of you there, guys, by the way. What I mean is that don't worry, it is coming. They're coming. Be patient. You ran out and bought 10-year hardware on the first year.
Yeah.
Okay? It's going to be a while, but people are out there making beautiful things. They're out there making Uncharted, and they're out there making orders. It's coming. Your show of support is not wasted just because you decided to do it early. You helped the company. You're going to get your ROI here. It's just going to be a while.
This is what we
because
talked
it takes
about
a long time to make video games.
a lot last generation, right? And the fact that we always talked about, there being the Spectrum and the middle fell out. Your THQs and mid-tier publishers fell out. And so when they went away, you lost these mid-range B to A games, right? And now you have either these indies or these AAA games, which means that the indies have to step up and fill a bigger role, which they are, and putting out experiences that are awesome.
Yeah, do play Luft users or Luft, however you pronounce it.
Lufttrousers. Yeah, it's frustrating
so
to me
good.
just because everyone complains about how expensive games are and how developers aren't putting their all into these AAA games and all that kind of stuff. Well, first of all, that's not true. And like we've said a bajillion times, games are cheaper than they've ever been. They are cheaper, 100%, factually correct, cheaper than they've ever been. $60 games and $10 games and $5 games, all cheaper. But this is good. Like, we're getting more games. Like, it doesn't require a studio of 100 people and a huge publisher to make these games anymore.
Yeah.
And that's really exciting. I encourage people to embrace this future because this gives us games like Gone Home. This gives us games like Mercenary Kings. This gives us games like Resogun. Like, Resogun is still PS4's best game.
Yeah.
It's still its best game. And I assume it's going to be its best game for a while. Now, that game was made by a team of 10 people.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. And now they're nimble enough to go move on to another game.
Oh, you were talking about Square earlier. Marty and I were sitting and talking the other day. It's after looking at that demo for fake Final Fantasy 13, do you remember that? The retro look one? It's not the graphical style, but between Bravely Default and watching that, just go take a 15-person team and make the next Final Fantasy. Please. I want to, I want to see what Final Fantasy indie looks like.
It would be awesome.
Yeah, and it's not going to happen, but boy, I wish it would. But somebody's going to do something like that. People are doing stuff like that, and that's why it's a great time to be playing games. Okay, sorry for the sermon.
No, it's good.
You preach, brother.
Preach
It's
it!
good. It's very frustrating to me.
Go say.
Yeah.
Games! Games!
Oh, okay.
And you hit Greg in the...
That's right.
I'm seeing the game!
I'm saying the games! I grew up around that. That's right.
Man, I wish I could.
Did you ever have one of the guys who held the snakes?
Ordained minister right here. That's right.
A snake holder?
No, not a stake holder.
Oh.
But yeah.
Not an ordained snake holder.
Yeah. The Reverend Jared Betty.
I'm going to start calling you that now. You've done away now with Wiki Wonderkin.
Oh, man. Uh-oh.
Number 9. In an interview with Edge, Ubisoft Vice President of Creative Lionel Reynaud confirmed that Assassin's Creed won't only come to PS4 and Xbox One this year, it will also come to PS3 and Xbox 360. As for why Ubisoft keeps releasing AC games every year, he said this, Greg.
Yeah.
We are able to offer people a new Assassin's Creed every year because they want Assassin's Creed every year. As long as this is true, we would be very stupid not to satisfy this need, but it puts a lot of pressure on us to create something that will never disappoint.
Right.
Makes sense to me.
Vote with your wallet, ladies and gentlemen, like we're always talking about. Ubisoft is paying attention.
Yep. They're a smart company. They're a very smart company.
And French.
They're very French. Yeah. Very French company. Number 10. In a statement given to website Video Gamers, Sony promises that Drive Club is coming along, that its release date will be revealed soon. This is what he said. Now bear with me on this one, Greg.
Please be excited for Drive Club.
Quote, development of Drive Club on PS4 is going from strength to strength. The announced studio changes across worldwide studios yesterday have not affected the development of Drive Club or the Drive Club team, which has always had great direction and continues to do so. So I guess there's people at Evolution not working on Drive Club, which is interesting. Okay. We have full confidence that the game will deliver on its PS4 promise to be the first truly socially connected racing title, and we are very pleased and excited by the caliber of work from Evolution Studios. The progress being made on the game is spectacular. Oh! So we're looking forward to sharing an update on development, release date, and videos of the game in action in the weeks to come. We thank you for your patience and assure you it will be worth the wait, end quote.
Drive Club's real, and it's spectacular.
Spectacular. Weeks to come, I assume that means E3. Yeah,
I don't know. I hope they get it. If they're smart, they'll get it out of the way before E3.
Really?
Yeah,
beforehand?
Since that game was at E3 last year and it was supposed to already be out, I don't think it's a good idea to put it there again.
Speaking of E3, Kevin writes in and says, "Hey, Beyond Crew.
Hello.
Beyond.
With E3 right around the corner, do you think new IPs as well as unannounced projects will be shown off at Sony's conference? Personally, I feel like Sony's E3 is going to be somewhat predictable. PlayStation Now's business model, Uncharted 4 trailer, Rhyme, Drive Club unless it's released before E3, new Destiny gameplay, Ubisoft and Square titles, maybe announce that No Man's Skies will be coming to PlayStation first. What do you guys think? Thanks and beyond, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely. It will absolutely be new IP.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are we going to get a lot, you think?
From the first parties.
Are they going to finally, you think they reveal 3?
I think they are going to mix it up. I think it also depends on what you consider like new IP literally. For instance, like I'm really convinced Bend is working on Siphon Filter, right?
Yeah.
So like, but I think it's going to be called Siphon Filter. So like it'll be like a reboot, right, of this series. Is that a new franchise? No, obviously not. It's a reborn franchise. But you can also expect that we know Guerrilla's working on new IP.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll reveal one of them there. That's a big studio now. There's a lot of teams there.
Yeah.
You know, we have...
Yeah, that seems like a slam dunk, right? Like, as many teams as there are there, yeah, why not? You already have Killzone out.
Yeah, so, like, you know, they're probably going to be ready. I'm super convinced they're working on an RPG, and I'm, like, really, really excited about that.
That'd be cool.
They hired New Vegas' writer. That is pretty indicative of what they're working on, in my opinion.
Cool.
So, I would expect maybe seeing something from Guerrilla. Maybe not. Might be a little soon. Killzone just came out. Sucker Punch is obviously a one team. There won't see anything from them for 2 years. Naughty Dog, yeah, Uncharted, Evolution. Hopefully, Drive Club will be out. They'll be dormant. Polyphony will be dormant. Studio Japan will always have these small games. Media Molecule. Now that's a studio that's definitely working on a new IP because they said they didn't want to do Little Big Planet anymore.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll be at E3. You know, that wouldn't surprise me at all. And that's basically everyone, right? So Sony London doesn't really do anything that the audience that listens to this podcast is concerned about. Cambridge just had cutbacks. Who knows what they're working on? That's basically everyone.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Siphon Filter.
So I think Siphon Filter will be at E3, and I think Media Molecule's game will be at E3. And Media Molecule's game will be a new IP.
Right,
An RPG from Guerrilla sounds exciting.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that'd be great.
An open world RPG?
Yeah. But other than that, I think the other things Kevin mentioned is going to happen. Business model, sure. Uncharted 4 trailer, sure. Drive Club, by God, I hope not. New Destiny gameplay, yeah. That's like their big thing right now. They're touting, right? With even right now with the commercials for Sharing is Caring. A lot of Destiny in that.
Project
and
Morpheus
Santa Monica.
fires. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Santa Monica.
What do you think they're gonna have?
They
don't.
No, they're probably not because their game. I think that Stig's game was supposed to be at E3.
Project Morpheus allows you to fire lasers out of your eyes.
Yeah, Morpheus will be prominently displayed there.
You think so?
Until dawn.
What are they going to show for Morpheus there?
Lasers out of the eyes.
I think
Here's our Cyclops game, everyone.
Yeah,
I think Until Dawn will be there.
Okay.
But
I'm talking about
maybe
he's talking about
games.
the press conference.
Yeah, I think
You think
Until
they're
Dawn.
going to come
Yeah,
out and show it again?
Yeah.
Richard Marks, not the singer but the doctor, said that they can render what you're seeing in the display on the screen, so it's not like this like muddled garbage anymore with two screens, one for each eyeball and stuff like that. So they could play Until Dawn on there and maybe show it. being played.
Could I have Richard Marx, the singer, come out in Morpheus?
Yeah, I hope so.
That'd be amazing.
Hold on to the night. Oh, I love Richard Marx, the singer. And I love Richard Marx, the doctor.
Yeah.
Number 11.
Both these seem like nice guys. What a nice young man.
Number 11. The following PlayStation platform games have been announced or given a release date. JRPG Mind Zero will come to PS Vita in North America and Europe on May 27th. Customizable card game Hand of Fate has been announced for PS4 and PS Vita.
Is that the pervy one?
I have no.
Okay.
That's Monster Monpiece.
Oh, okay.
Strike Suit Zero Director's Cut will launch on both PS4 and Xbox One on April 8th. Mobile Racer Jet Cars Stunts has been announced for PS3, PS4, and PS Vita. Metro Redux, putting together Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light, is coming to both PS4 and Xbox One. And Alien Isolation will launch on PS4, PS3, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and PC on October 7th.
That's a lot of dates.
Yep. That's it.
All right.
Is this, I think they call this dead air, don't they?
We were just having a moment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
A couple of shows ago, we did a bunch of pregnant pauses, and people had to keep checking their phones to see if the podcast stopped.
Oh, so I'm ruining everything.
No,
I listened to that.
That's how far we would have gone.
I was one of those people checking my phone.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, that's right.
Jared Petty.
Yeah.
How sad are you?
How sad am I?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sad. In pathos, I mean, like, just how
Just
sad
today,
my life is.
How sad are you right now?
I'm very sad. I just went to the doctor and found out that, like, I've been on this, like, all-soup diet all month.
Oh, my God, Petty.
It was for Lent.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, I know. It turns out...
Wait, for Lent you gave up solid food?
Yeah, I've been eating soup and salad all month. And so I did that for Lent, and...
How many beans are on the salad? Greg wants to know.
Not many beans. They had to be, like, you know...
It's gross enough to think all the soup this man
Okay, so, like, you know, those of you that can see know that I'm fat. So if I'm going to give something up, food is obviously my, like, compulsive habit. So I'm
sure.
like, okay. Problem is, turns out soup has a lot of salt in it. So
oh, no.
I just got back from the doctor, and my blood pressure has gone up 30 points over and under in a month. So my doctor's like, you have to come back in 2 weeks or you might die. So I have to drop the soup diet, obviously.
Sure.
I don't believe in none of this science. You'll be all right.
That's
now you got to get on that Jimmy John's diet.
So and I get on the Jimmy John's diet. Anyway, so yeah, I'm sad today because my blood pressure is like, I've never had high blood pressure despite my weight in my life. So I'm feeling kind of sad.
What have you lost weight?
Yeah, I have.
Are you how much weight have you lost? Will you tell us?
How many lbs you dropped?
Yeah, I probably dropped 10 pounds.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I eat 10 pounds a night of pizza.
Yeah. I probably dropped 10 pounds, and I think at this rate, I think I'm looking at probably dropping, you know, my goal is to drop, right now I'm at like 272, I think, and I want to get down to about 220.
Oh,
that's
wow.
great.
Okay.
That'd be fantastic.
That's not like my ideal weight at all,
sure,
but that's
sure,
like a reasonable old man weight, I think,
for
me, somebody of my build.
All right.
It's hard, man.
Thanks,
Good
guys.
for
by
you.
the way.
Good for you.
Well, let's see if it
Congratulations.
works. It's hard.
Well,
eating better is fucking hard.
Yeah, it is. I've been exercising. Exercise I'm doing now. So I've got that
What are you
down.
doing? What are you doing?
I walk about 2 miles a day,
Okay.
6 days a week.
Okay.
And and now I'm starting on the crunches because I was too fat to crunch before. Like I literally had too much, this is so gross, like body fat to do a good crunch. So,
We're big supporters of Team
I've
Fat
lost
here.
a-
You don't have
so
to worry
now
about
I'm
this.
doing crunches, and then, you know, we got a gym up there now, so I'm starting to do that.
Wait, you got a gym where?
Where I live, my apartment
Oh, okay,
complex
okay,
has a gym. Yeah, I live in like suburbia.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, so I have like the...
I just make sure they didn't put one here. That Colin and I
that'd
keep
be
eating
amazing.
around and not knowing it exists.
No,
It
it's
wouldn't
not
matter to
that.
me
They put one on the roof.
But my shoulder's messed up, so I'm having trouble with that though. So
yeah.
Doctor and I were talking about that today too. This is Jared's medical report.
Yeah.
You know, there's all kinds of stuff to do.
Well, I was just doing it to say, prepare to get even sadder.
Oh, are we going to talk about Goldfarb?
Yeah, we're going to the Andrew Goldfarb Memorial list of upcoming PlayStation software on all 3 platforms by the IGN editors.
I really miss that guy.
I don't see you later, Goldfarb.
I saw him April Fooling you today on the Twitter.
Yeah.
When he talked about getting rained on.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I like, you know, I'm on Next Muni.
Yeah.
Like looking 5 minutes. I'm like, all right, cool. I walk out. It starts like torrentially downpouring, like right when I like am at the door. So I open my umbrella. Then it starts hailing. I've never seen hail here ever. And it's hailing.
Is it
and
popping
it's
through
just
the umbrella?
Like my pants were like soaked. Like it was like, I almost was like, I'm not like, you know, scared of the weather, Greg.
Yeah.
But I almost was like, this might be a little much. Like, maybe I should go back inside. And then it just stopped. And it was sunny again. I was
Then
like,
a
holy
fucking
shit.
Volkswagen-sized hail ball lands in front of you.
You know
It's very
Willie
cool,
and Joe,
actually.
right? The old comic.
Wait, what'd you say?
Willie and Joe, the old
No,
World War
no,
II.
no.
Okay,
That sounds. You could have made that up.
No, it's the old
You know,
GI.
Billy Bob and Ratchet
No,
Clank.
you're getting back to Jimmy John again. All right. No, so Willie and Joe, there's this GI comic from back in World War II, and my favorite one of those, the two of them, and they're sitting in this like cave, huddled around, completely completely soaked. It's just pouring down rain outside. They can't get their fire lit. They got no food. There's gunfire going off in the distance.
A lot happening in this comic strip.
Right. And there's this dog sitting outside in the rain just staring at him, like soaked to the bone. And Willie looks over at Joe and says, Joe, bring that dog in here. I want to see something more miserable than I am right now. That wasn't...
And that dog bit Joe.
Yeah.
And then Joe died.
Okay, sorry, guys.
Rabies.
That might have been a little too much of a diversion.
No, it's not. There's never too much of a diversion.
I don't know. Yeah, but that was
too much of
an
a diversion is a World War II G.I. Joe comic book named Willie and Bob.
Willie and Joe.
I know. All right. PS4. The only game on PS4 this week is Mercenary Kings. That's available digitally, and it's free if you're on PlayStation Plus. That game is Contra meets Monster Hunter. Go check it out.
Sounds awesome.
That does not compute.
It's a side-scrolling, old-school-looking shooter with like super heavy customization, so you like find items on dead
you grind
bodies.
items for days and days.
Do you level up and stuff?
Yeah.
Like I've seen
very,
the
very
trailers.
slowly.
Stuff.
It's
like
very
Monster
cool.
Do you
like
play
Monster
with other
Hunter.
people?
Yes.
Is that online or couch co-op?
I think it's both, but I could be wrong.
That sounds like everything I want.
I played it with Shane Bettenhausen
I like him.
Oh.
some months ago.
He's
and
a
I
good
have a
man.
build of it, but I haven't played it at all since we had it.
Shane
there you go.
Bettenhausen, if you're listening, get on Retronauts and do the Nihon Telnet episode, please.
Damn, he's making that fanboy request over here.
On PlayStation 3, Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate Deluxe Edition is available digitally. That
There you
is
go.
the port of the Vita game. MLB 14 The Show is available on PS3 digitally and at retail. It will not come to PS4 until May. So
Dang.
hold your horses on that. They're not Sony San Diego not ready. Sony San Diego, very good studio.
Yeah, really good.
Ragnarok Odyssey Ace, digital and retail. That is basically Ragnarok Odyssey 1.5. Ragnarok Odyssey on Vita was bad. So
If you want that game, I have codes for it. One for Vita, one for PS3. Email beyond@ign.com with I want the code as the subject line. The first two who do it get it. I guess you should say PS3 or Vita.
Yeah. And please, if you're listening to this on April 2nd or after, listen very carefully. If it's April 2nd
You can never win this.
or after, do not email us.
It's
with
gone.
that. Email us questions and
Sure,
comments
at
and concerns,
beyond@ign.com.
but none of this. I hate when Greg does this. We get a million emails and then I have to delete everything because I can't
Why don't you
read
just
them.
make a filter?
No, I have a filter for Beyond, but I like to read the Beyond emails, and then then it's like a bunch of shit,
Yeah.
like with people asking for codes, which is great. But then I just delete them all because I'm like,
Well,
well,
that's a
about-
good way to keep you on your toes. Then you don't know what I'm going to ask you on the show.
What about people taking pictures of their junk and sending it to you? Is that okay?
Well, now we're going to get that. Thanks, Jared. And
I
I'm
was
gonna,
hoping.
I'm going to forward every one of them to you.
Nonsense.
on PS Vita, MLB 14 The Show is also available, and Ragnarok Odyssey Ace is also available, both digitally and retail. PS2 Classic, Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner Raido Kozunoa versus the Soulless Army. I don't know if you really want anything to do with that. And that is basically all of that.
Can we have a breaking glass sound every time you do that?
Well, then Stone Cold will punch through the wall.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Colin.
Yes.
How about a topic of the week? A toe. This one comes from Kevin in GA, probably right around the birthplace of Jimmy John's. He says Beyond.
Beyond.
Hey, Colin, I read your piece on Borderlands 2 from GDC where you said the game didn't look so hot. Any chance things get better before release, or should I not expend any energy hoping this title turns out to be good on the Vita? At that GDC show, at the PlayStation booth, they had Borderlands on a Vita. I played it, you wrote about it. Bring me up to speed, or I guess bring these kids up to speed.
So it's Borderlands, which is great, but the game just wasn't running well. Subpar frame rate, definitely below 30 frames. Game stuttered a few times, when you would just randomly. I don't know. There was really no enemies on the screen, so the game was like running badly without any
You and I
AI.
played at different times and went away. I didn't have a huge problem. Like, definitely the frame rate dropped. Don't get me wrong, but I wasn't having like major stuttering like you talked about. However, for me, playing in Borderlands, being dropped into a random part of the game, it was like 2 enemies would come around, I'd kill them, and then 2 more would come around over here. And I didn't know if that was something for the build, if that was the level, if that was like their demo stage or what. But I totally feel you on that. That 100% true.
Yeah, like Borderlands 2 was all about, and Borderlands 1 was all about like just massive amounts of enemies attacking you in these like installations that you go to, and like it just wasn't happening in this game. Now, like it could be for the build, and I don't really know. So the good news is that I'm seeing this game again soon. We're gonna have more about this game soon, very soon.
Okay,
all right?
soon.
And you'll know more. And you'll know
when
more.
we know more.
You'll know more by the time you listen to the next podcast, beyond my suspicions.
Oh, well, okay, great. Okay, that's cool.
But, yeah, I'm concerned about this game.
Sure.
I'm definitely concerned about this game. I think PS3 and Vita were supposed to have, like, power parity with each other, right? And, like, I think a lot of these games that are coming out, even Killzone Mercenary, which I thought was a great game, showed that Vita just can't run some of these games. Because Killzone Mercenary was running on Killzone 3's engine, but it was obviously not Killzone 3's engine as you know it, right?
Yeah.
Borderlands 2 looks the part for the most part, I think. I just think it doesn't run very well. Yeah, there was not a lot of enemy population in the places I was seeing, which could be for the build. It's a debug build. The biggest problem I had was not even the frame rate, because I'm not expecting this game to run silky smooth on the PS Vita. It's just not as powerful as the PS3.
Right.
The biggest problem was the controls. Like, my hands were all over the back of it. I was constantly meleeing, and like I just feel like there has to be a better solution to some of these. And so when I went back and played it a second time, actually, and was talking to one of the producers, really nice dude. Never met him before. He's new at Sony. And he was like, you can map the buttons. And I was like, excellent. So like this alleviates some of my problems with the game immediately, because like I can map anything I want to any of the buttons. Or
can you use the front? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you can map the front left, right, back, left. So you can put things that don't matter on the back.
Okay.
Because he's like, you got to hold the Vita like in a certain way. And I'm like, I just don't hold the Vita like that. You know, like,
see, when I was using it, when I first started and I was trying to figure out how to run, I eventually started screwing around. I was back touch and figured it out. And I felt by the end of the demo I was much more comfortable in the beginning. But I know that I hold my Vita different than you, especially now that I have the Japanese, slim model, right, where I have bigger handholds. I can, I'm used to putting my things in the grooves and leaving them there.
Yeah, I might have to just get a slim to alleviate some of these problems, because I'm really excited about this game. Now, what I can confirm to you is that Borderlands, PS3, and Vita share a list of trophies. In terms of like they're identical and along with DLC, but if you have a platinum on PS3, you can transfer your save and get the platinum automatically on Vita,
right,
and vice versa.
And any other trophy you get.
Exactly. So there's all this trophy kind of cross functionality, which is going to be nice.
Trophy incest.
Yeah, exactly. We know all about trophy incest with sound shapes, especially, and also even with Sega Genesis or
DC Universe
Mega Drive, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I think they're going to cut back on that soon, but from what I've heard, yeah, so this is a thing that's going to be cool, and I think people are going to like Borderlands 2 on Vita. You got to temper your expectations. If what I saw was any indication, because this is not the Borderlands 2 you played on PS3.
Yeah.
It is almost, but not quite. And so, yeah, to answer his question directly, can it improve? Absolutely. It was not a final build of the game.
Yeah.
But I don't know like how much of this problem you can alleviate. I just think that like the Vita's horsepower can't have 20 enemies on the screen at once and run this game.
Sure.
Also, the load times between sections are extraordinary.
Oh, really? I never ran into that.
Like 25 seconds.
Wow.
So
that's not good.
There's video. Like I asked if I could take off screen. They said no, but other people obviously were just doing it anyway, which is the way it always goes.
Yeah.
And someone has, like, it's on camera. You can find it on YouTube. Just Google Borderlands 2 Vita, and you'll see, like, the transition between scenes is, like, extraordinary.
Interesting.
I was like, oh, my God.
I hold out hope, man, because, like, it was playing it and jumping the start and the menus and stuff. It all felt like, oh, man, this is literally Borderlands 2, which a game I loved. So I'm like, I hope it comes together to be at least a competent package that I can sink more hours into, get more trophies.
Me too, but it brought me down to earth in terms of what Vita is capable of. Like... We always said, like, how cool would it be for Bethesda to hire an outside firm to bring Fallout 3 to Fallout 3 would never run on PS3 or on PS Vita, right? Skyrim would never in a million years run on Vita. Like it sucks because there's all these problems that like kind of handicap the handheld where you can't have some of these experiences, and that bums me out a little bit.
PlayStation Now.
Yeah.
That's true. There is now, and that's doubly bad for Vita on account of the fact that the install base is so small that it's difficult to create an original property for the thing with any kind of a budget. So that doubles things up for you.
Right, and they are right. Like they're working on Freedom Wars, which I'm not even sure is ever going to come out here. That game looks really good. They're working on Gravity Rush 2, which I don't know if that will come out here either.
It'll come out here.
Oh, I live and die by Vita. I don't want to just besmirch the noble name.
Oh, no,
of Vita.
you're not. I'm just saying that, like,
exactly.
I'm just saying, like, the AAA experiences, right? Like, the really important AAA experiences they've not nailed, like the games that would have sold Vitas.
Right.
Assassin's Creed Liberation was not a great game. Call of Duty was horrible, horrible. And now they're going to have Borderlands 2 that's going to be packaged in with the Slim, and you're going to be able to buy it, but people are going to be disappointed. I guess what I'm saying is, like, they need to refocus on a AAA Vita game, whether it's internal or not, whether it's a port or not, and do it right. You know?
Put all the time and money into it to make it
and
be like, holy crap,
but do they
believe
anymore that they're going to get the return on investment in terms of the thing's lifespan?
I don't know, man. It's hard. Like, the Vita's maybe at $7.5 million. Like, we don't really know. Like, that's bad. I was like, Game Gear sold like 11 million. So, like, you know, like, you're not, you know, you're like not even in like great territory right now. But I
Links
think the Vita,
forever.
I think with the Vita's install rate, the fact that people that own Vita buy games, they fucking buy games. You know, and like small companies are making money. They're making lots of money. It's unbelievable to me. Like when the great example is when Tecmo Koei brought Atelier like the Atelier Plus games to Vita. They brought one over. It was like Atelier Maruru or something like that. And I was like, this is never going to happen again. Like they stealth released it and stuff, and then they released another one, and then they released another one, and I was like, all right, like they're obviously making money on this. It's the same thing with NIS and Axis and all these small companies in Namco that are bringing these games over. They're seeing a return. Now, whether Sony's like, and obviously the indies are seeing a return too.
Yeah.
I think Thomas Was Alone sold like 150,000 copies on Vita.
Yeah.
So like, and Hotline Miami did crazy numbers and stuff. So there's a group of people that are buying games. I'm not so sure that spreading Vitas out is as important as making sure these people are happy with their product.
I'm wondering about that too. I mean, if you add a AAA title at this point to a Vita, how much audience are you going to build, and do the people who already have Vitas care all that much? I mean, handheld games, especially before this generation, were kind of their own little finding local world of adaptations and need of original ideas. Vita has continued that legacy in a really interesting way. You mentioned Hotline Miami. That's the kind of game that just is just made to be played that way.
Yeah. It was perfect on Vita.
I wonder if the people who have bought Vitas are kind of that madcap audience that seems to exist every generation. The people who buy Saturns, the people who buy Dreamcasts, the people who buy...
They like games wherever they are, and they want the... Yeah, they don't care if they're big titles.
They want fun, neat games that are appropriate to their platform. Maybe that's going to be some of it. I don't know.
Yeah. Velocity 2X.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of Hotline Miami, a Beyond fan, just like you, Jared, just like you, Colin, just like you, viewer/listener, wrote in but didn't sign his email, so he doesn't have it. So when you write in to beyond@ign.com, make sure you have a question, short, and then you put your signature on there, because when I copy and paste, it don't work. But he said, hey, Greg, Colin, and guest, Beyond. I happened to win a Hotline Miami code for PS Vita this week, and since I already got it thanks to PlayStation Plus, I thought you could give it away. It might include the PS3 version, but I'm not positive. I love the show. Thanks and Beyond. R68EKNNKKM8A. Thank you, nameless fan, who is now the newest
You're a hero.
case lesson. Make sure you sign your emails.
Are you sure
Make
that wasn't
your
his
emails
name?
aren't that long.
You sure that wasn't his name? That could have been his name.
It's true. He could be like Johnny Five.
He might have forgotten the code.
Tyler wrote in. He signed his email. He says hello and beyond to Greg, Colin, and guest. I'm going to buy the new Slimmer Vita when it comes to the U.S. this spring. And when it does, I know there are a ton of games I need to catch up on. But what do you guys think my first 5 should be? SteamWorld Dig, Fez, or older ones like Velocity Ultra, Uncharted? Let me know. Thanks, Tyler. Well, of course, Tyler. IGN.com has a list of the best Vita games.
The top
Totally
5 on that list.
But would things change for you
Luther
anymore?
users! Luther playing game with button.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's being crazy, but you need to get Luftrausers.
Luftrausers. Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. It's a cross-buy for PS3 Vita, and it's the best Vita game I've played in months. I haven't been able to talk about it enough lately.
The list would change probably now.
Yeah.
Spelunky
So I mean,
on there?
no one's holding you to it right now. Yeah, Spelunky. Like I mean, we're tossing out. We're
Spelunky's not on that
spitballing.
list, is it? Colin? Spelunky's not on that list, is it?
I don't think it was out until...
Right, that's what I was thinking. Spelunky...
I would say Uncharted's a good purchase.
Yeah.
That's the most console quality game on the system.
Yeah.
Sound Shapes.
Sound Shapes would be good.
Persona 4 Arena.
Persona 4 Golden.
Did I say
Yeah,
Arena?
you did,
Jeez.
yeah. Persona 4 Golden is
Persona
heads
4
up.
Golden.
Do
You
it.
like those Arc
Hundreds,
System
I did. Well,
hundreds
actually,
of
Persona
hours.
4 Arena is a great game, but by Golden. Yeah, sorry.
I would say Velocity Ultra is a good purchase. Hotline Miami obviously is a good purchase.
Hotline Miami. Yeah.
Rainbow Moon's a good purchase if you want like a really meaty RPG. I'm trying to visualize my Vita's screens.
I know you're not a fan. Little Big Planet, very
Yeah,
quality
well, yeah.
game, plenty to do, lots of free levels to download and play through.
Don't spend 15 minutes in the store when you buy the thing, going through the old PSP downloads that are available.
No trophies. F that business.
No,
you need
who
the trophies,
cares?
Jared.
Screw the trophies.
Oh, that
cares
I'm
about
turning your mic
Screw
off.
the trophies.
Turn them off.
Forget the trophies. No, there's a lot of good games available from the older platform. You may have missed if you didn't have a PSP. And,
Patapon's on there. That's all you need to know.
Well, there's that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Metal Gear
PS1 classics too. A lot of those.
Metal Gear Solid HD Collection.
Yeah, that's good. That's actually a good port.
Yeah, that's excellent.
God, these games feel so old though.
I know, right? When you start thinking back to all this other stuff.
I don't know why I'm like drawing blanks here. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a
You're
lot.
a big fan of the Raymans?
Yeah, the Rayman games are very good. If you like old school.
I mean,
like,
putting it right
side-scroll.
up there, near the top of your list, I say Guacamelee.
Oh, yeah,
Guacamelee,
of course.
yes, of course.
Just whether we're having a stroke or something here. That's awesome.
Who's having a stroke? Me?
I am.
Oh.
I just can't think.
You wrote
No,
a
I
list.
can't think of anything either.
Yeah.
And I play Vita like every day of my life.
Well, yeah, that's no big deal. But that's how many good games are on there.
Yeah. There's a lot. Yeah, Pixel Junk, Monsters.
Yeah,
Is
Pixel
good.
Monsters, really good one.
Yeah, just go read the list of
There's
them.
listeners' reviews over at IGN.com. which is where you should go. Because, ladies and gentlemen, that's what keeps the mics on and keeps us in business. Thank you so much for listening to Podcast Beyond, episode 336. Remember, when you go to IGN, you can read the reviews, watch the videos, download that PlayStation 4 app, and watch all the videos there uninterrupted on your big screen TV. Your Podcast Beyonds, your Up at Noons, your Daily Fixes, and your whatnots. Until then, make sure you're keeping up with everything we're doing by following us on Twitter. IGN is IGN. I'm Game Over Greggy. Colin is No Taxation. Jared Petty is Petty, Jared. Spell out, comma.
C-O-M-M-A.
Oh, you know what to do
The
right
comma
there.
will
That's right.
break. If you put a comma in, it will break the link.
Yeah, it'll break it. So
That would be
Petty,
bad.
Jared.
Don't do that at all.
Users lose all sense of reality and enter another world. Remember, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.